hit. I can't print. I can't emo either.
It's okay. You know, I'm getting kind of tired of getting my ass beat. I mean, ever since they added silver, it's been like this. Shadow's no fun to go against either, and Fleetway's only fun if you don't play him like an idiot. I'm the idiot, by the way, hi. I want to try something new, you know? Outcome's fun, but I want something that panders to my exact weaknesses and somehow involves Sonic. Well, that looks interesting. I couldn't really get into a lot of the ASIMs on Roblox that people hype up. I know that most of them are fine. I mean, surely their entire player base can't be wrong. But for a lot of games in the genre, they all lean super heavily on old Roblox as an aesthetic. Some are more justified than others, but it never really clicked with me. Honestly, I found myself being bored just looking at the games while playing them, because it's all the same stud textures and noobed or guest models, and I think that's mostly because Roblox doesn't have a place in my nostalgia. I never played it growing up, so seeing all these old aesthetics, while occasionally cool, doesn't really mean anything to me. No disrespect to the games themselves, though. As far as I can tell, they're perfectly fine. But I do not have that problem with these two gems right here. These hit me right in the heart with what they represent. I adore the old internet and what it looked like. How it felt to see the web as a vast new frontier to explore. The internet felt more human back then, more adventurous and bold.
Oh shit!
So, because these two games have captured my attention, I'm gonna give them their flowers, starting with the one I was laying the glaze on thick for. Everyone in this game is a cat. We've got Tart Cat, Gun Cat, Cat-O-C, Robo-Cat, Lucky Cat, Long Cat, Cat Rabbit, and the IT guy. And you know what they're into. If you couldn't tell by looking at them, every single character in this game has something to do with the old internet. Some of them are more on the nose than others. They gave Pop-Tarts to the Rainbow Cat, and the Block Dude goes, "Ugh." This is by no means subtle. But some of them are more representative of concepts that existed at the time, or are based on the hardware. Vinnie and Sweep, the Minesweeper and Virus Snake, probably come from the same computer running Windows XP. Mikaela is just a walking MLG edit. Dante has the power of God and anime on his side, and Pinkie Pie is a double entendre of representation. Does that even make sense? Keep it in. But it doesn't stop with them. Ignoring the killers for now, there's a map that's a big game of Minesweeper. One that's both Silent Hill and Ponyville. Motherfucking Mario Kart! Add another cat to the tally, he deserves it. They even got the Angie's hat and guitar here. The only thing that the lineup is missing is a Hatsune Miku concert in Nuketown, and I'm pretty sure we'd have a comprehensive look at the culture at the time. Though I do think that one Roblox stage should come back, even if I don't necessarily vibe with it. Roblox was a big part of that era too, and it's weird that they seem to have taken that map out of the rotation. The things you'll be doing in these maps is a little different than other games in the genre though. Pursuitcore has generators, however instead of doing a minigame or skill checks to repair them, all you need to do is find blue jerry cans and deliver them to the generators to dump them in. Pretty simple, all things considered. However, while you're transporting the can, you will have a decently long trail of blue smoke following behind you. Pretty similar to carrying intelligence in TF2. Actually, it even makes the same noise as picking up ammo. So while there may not be anything to do once you get to the generator, actually returning is sort of a minigame in of itself. That minigame being juking the killer as much as possible because it's far easier to spot you while on the return trip given the, big fuck-ass blue trail. The reward for doing so is also a little different. See, instead of reducing the time on the clock, it makes it so that the exits spawn sooner, capping out at a minute 30. 2 generators spawn on each map, but one will always be in the same spot as the main generator. You'll know it when you see it because of the light pole that's attached. The other is supposed to spawn in different places each match according to the wiki, but speaking from experience, it almost never actually moves. It'll take a couple of matches for you to get a read on where everything is, so don't be discouraged if you don't get many fuel cans deposited the first go. The main aim of the game is to waste the killer's time, so if you can do that, you'll be alright. But it's kinda hard to do that with jukes alone, so what exactly do the characters have to offer outside of being cute? Depending on who you play, quite a bit actually. Starting simple with the free characters, we've got Nyan. She's so pretty. And pretty simple with only 2 moves, Slide and Tart Boost. Slide boosts you forward in an invincible state for a second, and moves in the direction your character is facing, which I am so tired of. Anything that relies on where the model is facing instead of where the camera is facing is really, really annoying. But that's more of an issue with the cup we'll talk about in the next video. As it stands in game, it's fairly inoffensive. To do the healing, you have Tart Share, which creates a circle around you that will heal a single person within it gradually up to 25 health at a time. The good news is that you can move around freely while healing. The bad news is that the effects can only apply to one person at a time, represented by a rainbow tether to them. You don't get to choose who's affected manually either, so if a bunch of people need healing and the child isn't around, you'd better start jittering to switch targets.
Hiya.
Vinnie was once Dante's tail. Dante is one of the strongest Pursuitcore characters, lore-wise matching Party Pony. Definitely toned down a game. Dante has existed since 2023, and Clay Doggy's Persona. Party Pony is one of the slightly stronger Pursuitcore characters, but slightly weaker than Dante. This guy is one plot device away from being a Mary Sue. Ignoring the favoritism, Dante is actually pretty fun. They're purely offensive, with a swing that's usually pretty easy to hit, and Wing Beat, which is the opposite. Wing Beat is a lunge attack that only hits at the tail end of the jump, so it's not something you should ever do in close proximity, unless you want to recreate the Sonic Adventure 2 pose with a horse. Fortunately, it also doubles as a mobility tool, allowing you to lunge in any direction, including straight up, which can buy you some time in chase if you use it right. Probably the most skill-demanding of the... She's the only one smart enough to bring a gun to a home invasion. Unfortunately, I handle guns like a London resident in this game, so it's not super useful with me, but she's a good backline stunner in the right hands. Snipe is self-explanatory, but the meter might need some. Like Mick Mundy. Holding the angle charges your shot, maxing out at 2 levels. Uncharged, the bullet stuns for half a second. With 1 level, it's 1.5 seconds, and fully charged is 2.5 seconds. Unlike some ASIMs, the bullet is mostly hit scan from what I can tell, and has infinite range, which is why I'm glad I wasn't recording when I was learning how to use it.
Shit. God. What are you?
Mountain Dew directly complements the sniper, giving it instant first level of charge upon drinking, but preventing anything further. Good if you need to quick scope or otherwise can't spend time charging, though you need to use it before it expires. From what I've seen, the boost lasts for 15 seconds unused. And lastly, the only self-preservation tool at her disposal, the flashbang. God, smoke bomb. It is a smoke bomb. It makes you invisible for 3 seconds and reduces your movement speed. It's best used near ledges, where it's harder to track where you're going. Let's just get out of here before that guy throws another one. Now, from here, things are going to get a little more complicated, but it's not too terrible. It's just a lot of gimmicks that you'll need to get used to, starting with Fukatsuki. Dear Diary, today I watched my friend die, and all I got was a stupid frog hat. I swear to God, if I roll it again, I am going to stab myself. Fukatsuki looks overwhelming on paper, but is pretty simple once you know what you're doing. She's got a pool of effects that she can draw from, all based on effects from Yume Nikki. I'll list them here as fast as I can. Bunny, speed boost radius, less speed for you. Frog, jump boost radius, only applies to you if you affect someone else. Lucky Cat, faster cooldown radius, cute ears. Bike, fast as fuck, boy. Knife. Statue, way better healing at the cost of not moving. Heals up to 75, less effective for your Nyan because she's used to stimulants and has no effect on other children. Fukitsuki's like 9, by the way. The actual abilities she has are just ways of getting those effects. Pressing the effect button without one will choose a random skill and store it, and will be used when you next press it. Flute allows you to choose whatever effect you want, but has a cooldown similar to life expectancy in the US. 80-some years, unless you're the last one standing at a protest.
I am Steve.
Crafter is unironically the most technical of the group. Despite being square-shaped, he's a formidable snowball character, and kind of really annoying to deal with sometimes. The tool and swap buttons complement each other. One lets you switch what you do, and the other lets you do it. Having the pickaxe out will mine the ground, producing a bunch of random materials, while sword lets you swing your sword. Obviously. Using the sword sends you forward in a fast, straight line, so you really gotta time your swings well. You also have a utility, which manifests as walls and minecarts. Dirt is pretty useless, stone is better, you usually want the minecarts. And your final ability is Craft, which thankfully, thank God, uses the Xbox system of having recipes ready to go, instead of having to obsessively organize your inventory mid-chase. I don't think many killers would be polite enough to let you agonize over that. Also keep in mind that when crafting a new tool, it affects both tools, not just one. I had to rewrite that part of the script actually, because I was under the impression that each tool was a separate crafting thing, but no, it's all just one. And don't worry too much about getting diamonds. If you spend the whole match mining, you're not helping your team.
You don't seem to understand. A shame you seemed an honest man. And all the fears you hurt.
Vinnie is just Knuckles. Literally bar for bar. If you took his head off like a Scooby-Doo villain's mask, you would see an echidna in that snake costume. The only difference between the two is that Vinnie pukes a little when hitting the killer, allowing him to blind them. He's got a punch and a counter, and just like outcome memories, I can only hit one of them with any success. The punch works more like it does in the disaster, though, with it just being a normal swing with some startup lag. Counter's identical, though, and the only safe way to get those venom apples Vinnie keeps spitting up. Without it, you'll have to take actual damage to get the venom. I do kind of wish Vinnie was more of his own character, but I also understand that brawler-type characters are hard to make unique moves for. It's kind of why every version of Amy always has, like, a hammer swing and a bounce. It's hard to beat the gold standard. And lastly, Raffle picks. Really stupid. I know what they were going for, but like, man, it's kind of a mouthful. Honestly, he's not too complicated. They've got a sprint button and a camera that can show the locations of fuel, generators, and the friendly neighborhood slasher that's probably already chasing someone. You also have a power meter that drains with sprinting and taking photos of fuel, but refunds some power if you get a shot of the killer. Being under 25 power gives you a 1.4 times damage vulnerability because J. Jonah Jameson has seen it fit to smite you for sitting in a corner and huffing the fuel. And not taking pictures of Spider-Man. Raffle is kind of my least favorite character, and it's not because they're a survivalist/support hybrid either. The speed boost is a valuable addition and boosts your survivability a ton, and is a very good thing that I like playing while being a survivalist. I eat 13 eggs a day and it doesn't impact my mental health at all.
Get a load of this!
Nah, it's mostly about the camera. It's not as useful as I think it could be. It does have the ability to highlight fuel through walls and generators, which is nice, but the way of getting power back within any reasonable time frame is to take a picture of the killer. A killer that you need 3 seconds of line of sight for to even lock onto. It doesn't sound like a long time, but it is plenty of time for the killer to realize you are using the camera and come to attack you while you're easy pickings. Even that aside, revealing the position of the killer isn't super useful when the only time you'll be trying to take a picture of them is when they're already chasing somebody else, who knows that they're there. And like, most of the team will be nearby anyways because that's the name of the game, your teamwork and shit. I realize that this is all coming from someone who gets dopamine from hitting the guy, but there has got to be something more useful Raffle can do. Maybe taking a picture could have a shorter log-on for less power return, maybe 10 instead of 20, and shoot out like a tranq dart that slows the killer for a second. That or having it be a separate function while you're in first person. I don't know, just give the guy something. Anyways, with that out of the way, we can get back to the fun part. Have you ever heard the sound someone makes when you break their spine?
Would you like to?
Oh my dear sweet Colossus, how I have missed you. Or I guess it would be Pink Colossus here? I know we're not doing cosmetic stereotypes anymore, but this is the best one here, and I will not hear any slander from my glorious king. Anyways, you know who this is. We're finally getting into the creepypasta representation. It would feel kind of weird if they weren't here, honestly. It was a huge thing at the time. Even bigger with the guy coming up next, but Pinkie Pie is no slouch either. She hits like a freight train, too. I know the game is still in development, but I really hope that the survivors you hit with charge keep de-atomizing until the final release.
Judgment.
She does have some other moves though. I can only glaze charge for so long. Her kit is pretty simple, being one of the 2 free killers. She has an indicator, the charge, the kick, and the TD thing where your M1 is listed as an ability. I honestly don't know why these games do that. I feel like it's common knowledge that killers have M1 attacks. It just kind of serves to clutter the screen. I mean, I know it's a non sequitur, but just look at this. That's a quarter of the screen gone. Luckily, that's hardly an issue here. Indicator is self-explanatory, but I'm going to explain it to you anyways. It indicates the positions of survivors anywhere on the map with a pink outline, limiting your view for a few seconds. Simple, easy, fully blinds you in certain parts of Silent Ponyville, but we're not going to talk about that. You already know about charge, but there are a few things to note about it. You can be stunned during the wind-up, but speaking from experience, you'll rarely be within range of anybody to do so, and it's so short that it almost doesn't matter. Your mileage may vary with that statement. Charge can be counted by Knuckles, because this is a cosmic constant that must be upheld lest the universe collapse. And unlike TD, you can actually turn during charge. It's got nothing on outcome turn on a dime memories, but it does offer limited control over where you go, which is nice. As far as I know, it can only pick up 1 user at a time. I mentioned that the survivors are called users tier, right? No? And I didn't say anything about the killers being Terminators either? Shit. Last up is Kick. Kind of an underwhelming ability, but has some decent combo potential. Hitting a user with it does a measly 10 damage, but it also produces a funny ragdoll that stuns them for 2 whole seconds. Time you can take to sit for a moment with your thoughts. Ponder what you could do to make the most of this opportunity. Just kidding. Waiter! More charge, please! What do you mean you're out? Kick also boosts you forward in a straight line, so it's easier to connect. A lovely little bow on top of a lovely little package. Now, who do we have next?
Hey guys.
Klonoa!
Dude, you didn't even try.
Oh my god, guys, I can't believe it. It's X the Sonic Hedgehog. Or Cabot, in this case. Cat rabbit thing. You know he had to be here. Creepypastas aren't complete without a couple of drops of hyper-realistic blood and shitty writing. .x falls way more heavily under the legally distinct category than most, though. Probably to avoid a lawsuit whenever they decide to add a Game Pass. God rest its soul, Sonic.exe the disaster. He's so legally distinct, he even has his own version of Tails and Knuckles. Now that's dedication. I would say I hope we see them as a survivor someday, but knowing how things go with X...
You know you make me wanna shout, lift my head up and shout, throw my hands back and shout, come on now, shout, come on now, shout, come on now, shout, come on now, shout, take it easy, shout, take it easy, shout, take it easy, shout, take it easy, shout.
Yeah, that's not likely. .x's whole thing is speed and positioning. If you're smart and aggressive, you're fine. If not, the only fast thing about him is your patience wearing thin. He moves faster than other killers, but gets less iframes after being stunned. Luckily, all of your tools can help prevent that, starting with the one you'll be using the most. Drop Dash! Or, here I come in game, but it's a drop dash. Curl into a ball and blast away. You'll gradually start slowing down the longer you go without hitting somebody, but doing so will speed you right back up. The initial hit does 15 damage and marks the player. Hitting them again will do a multi-hit before ragdolling them and cursing you with N-lag. However, because you can pass right through the user on a first hit, it is phenomenal crowd control. And that must be the intention, because the wiki states that the final hit does more damage depending on how many people you've marked. Pretty neat. Weirdly enough, it's .x who gets the counter in this game. It works exactly how it did for Knuckles and Vinnie before him, and it lasts a few seconds without being hit. Honestly though, I forget I have this sometimes. It is useful, since hitting it gives you a free 25 damage on whoever attacked you with an animation that really should kill them. Eesh. Also, if you're using the quiet skin, hitting his counter changes his laugh to a Last up, Indicator, which turns you invisible and grants you flight to go anywhere you please on the map. You can't attack in the state, obviously, and this is where the positioning stuff really comes in. Regardless of if you appear next to somebody or not, there is a second of N-lag before you can actually do anything, giving them a decent head start in the chase. It's hard to know where to appear to catch them by surprise, but you'll get the hang of it with enough practice. Except for me. Why is it always the characters that I like that I suck at playing? They really suck at actually removing this guy in the patches. Blankstare, like his survivor cousin, is one of the more technical characters, and he has my favorite mechanic in the ASIM genre, Rage Mode. Hang on, before you go assaulting the designers, this one actually has a point. Instead of it being a consequence of the survivors playing the game and avoiding being hit, Blankstare's rage is actually something you'll work for. Pretty much everything he does contributes to his XP bar, but some do it more than others. His normal attack contributes a small amount. Siphon, his grab, does the most, passively gaining 0.5 per second and 2.5 per hit on your victim. Considering how slowly the meter fills on the user side to break free, you can get a lot of those hits in if nobody bothers you. You just need somebody to not bother you. Transmute spawns a tower that generates EXP passively, with a cap of 3. The survivors can actually break the towers if you leave them alone for long enough, so be sure to keep an eye on them. And lastly, Spectator Mode. It's his indicator, combining those of the horse and the rabbit. He moves faster while invisible, but as a trade-off of not being able to see a single thing in front of him. I guess Pinkie's indicator was charitable after all. But what happens when you fill the bar entirely? Well, pressing transmute one more time causes Blankstare to relive the glory days of being a fitness influencer and roids the fuck out. You move faster, hit harder, and transmute summons a wall of earth to smack anyone unfortunate enough to get in the way. This does come with some caveats. Your swing, while having next to no cooldown now, forces you into a straight line like Crafter. You're also a larger target for stuns, and the transmute wall is so predictable that hardly anybody's going to get hit unless they're right in front of you. Grab is still pretty consistent though, but you can no longer stab them repeatedly, opting to try and dribble the person and failing miserably. The biggest difference in this rage mode? It doesn't actually stop the exit timer at all. So if you can't capitalize on your power boost, there is no safety net. And finally, a Pursuitcore original, coming from the depths of the Windows XP operating system, representing my least favorite game. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Sweep! You know, I think they should have taken all of his limbs. Yeah, Sweep is kind of a miss for me. You know how Tripwire is supposed to be a Trapper character? Sweep is the biblically accurate version of a Trapper. Literally all of his abilities are reliant on the mines that he places. You've got an ability to throw them, an ability to detonate them, and an indicator that relies on survivors being in close proximity to them. And I'll be real with you, I'm only mad because I'm bad at playing this guy. Trappers and zoners have never really appealed to me, and part of that is because they require brain power I don't think I have. You need to constantly know where the survivors are and what mines they're next to. And while the indicator does help with that, and using it in tandem with the detonate command is encouraged, it's still really lacking in my eyes. It doesn't help that it takes considerable time for the mines to even go off on their own either. And there's no option to just lower the timer on the mines, you can only detonate them. And to top it all off, you have a giant hitbox, I think the biggest out of any base killer, meaning that if you try to pressure somebody into running into a bomb, you are a massive target for the rest of the team and probably won't get any killing done. The only redeeming quality in my eyes is on the survivor's end, where disarming a mine forces you to play a small game of Minesweeper. I think it's entirely too much effort for one single mine that can be replaced instantly, but it's an adorable detail. And it's nice that every survivor can do it. I'll probably try playing him more to get a better grasp on what he does, but if I keep getting put into lobbies with the top 1% of players, I think the Unga Bunga route is the one I'm going to be sticking with.
Pony strong, kill little user with.
Huh? You can direct hit with the mines?
You have redeemed yourself, my friend.
But if you're able to get away from the killer for a moment, or if they get distracted chasing someone else, you might hear something new creep in. Something softer, more somber. Safe?
No.
Serene? I'll let you be the judge of that. You know, maybe they're not gonna put a Game Pass in. I don't think anything else would fit here.
Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
As an Outcome fan, I'm spoiled when it comes to music, but I'll be damned if I let a gem like this go unrecognized. All of the original songs here are good. I can't say the same about the less original stuff though, but Party Pony does not suffer from that. It is a perfect theme for her. It's energetic from the jump, never slows down, being almost manic in its tone, which makes sense for her since her hyperactive personality enthusiasm never went away in the shift to being a creepypasta. The only thing different now is that she likes blood. It's got a really crunchy, grungy backing track that kind of reminds me of an engine running, but I could totally be hallucinating that. Dot X's chase theme is fitting for him too, to an extent, but he's kind of aggressive about it. I'm trying, man, you don't gotta yell at me! But for real, the lyrics are the most poignant part of the whole song. And I know it's supposed to be directed at the survivors, but I always feel like I'm playing him wrong when I'm listening to it. I think it's based on that Survivor 2011X concept song for Outcome Memories. Even Gods Can Bleed, I think the name is. The stuff he's shouting is basically the same as it is there. I wasn't a huge fan of the original song, but I think I've warmed up to this version of it. Dot X is boisterous and cruel, mocking his victims whenever he can. I think it perfectly fits him, especially with that overbearing track that surrounds the words. This one's okay. I think Breakcore was the best choice for a killer like this. The disjointed samples crashing through the runtime really perfectly encapsulates a robot whose programming's fundamentally broken. Despite how aggressive the track is, though, his playstyle is sort of at odds with the vibes that it gives off, since rushing people down is not what he does best. A solid 6.5 out of 10. And rounding out the list of killers, and ignoring the alternate skin themes because... Excuse me, what? We've got Herobrine. The admin? The Farlander. Really annoying? Okay, so technically... Regardless of how he is to play against, this is a goated chase theme. The sharp piano hits and distorted guitars mixed with the drums marching in the background makes this guy feel like a slasher villain. Always aware of where you are and getting closer, but never rushing. Watching and waiting for the perfect time to strike. It's perfect for someone who stalks from the fog.
He's in, boys! He did it! He said it!
Even his rage mode theme is perfect because it's largely the same song, but the intensity is kicked up with a way faster tempo and an almost angry sounding synth. Because at this point, Blankstare isn't satisfied to just watch and walk you down anymore. He's fucking pissed and wants this to be over with yesterday, fully marking his transition between genres from slasher horror to monster horror. But come on, everyone knows that the LMS themes are the crown jewel for a game like this. I'm gonna be skipping the non-original ones here because there's not much to talk about. Nyan's is fitting, being a party cat and all, but it lacks any emotional weight after seeing her friends die. Vinnie's disappoints me. And Mikaela's is really, really ass. I have no idea what the song is trying to convey, but it does not work for her. It's also super heavily copyrighted because almost every upload on YouTube about this has the song muted. And not only that, I can't even find any uploads of the song. However, Raffle absolutely needs to keep his LMS. It is the funniest thing in the game and I love it to bits. Because it also kind of fits him as a character. Raffle doesn't give a single shit about the other survivors, and Fab Fox Robotics, the people that made him, have already distanced themselves from any damage their robot does due to negligence of its duties. The lack of any emotion other than hype is completely valid here, and you don't need MatPat to figure that out for you. Which leaves us with only 3. And I think Crafters is a good place to start. One detail I really like about his LMS is that the beginning and end sound like they could have been made with note blocks. But the rest of the song goes nutty in a whole different way. It reminds me less of Minecraft and more of Xenoblade or some similar JRPG because whoever was working the piano was killing it in this song. It remains fairly low-key throughout the whole thing, while still keeping the energy to push you forwards, and the more I listen to it, the more I love it. I know next to nothing about you, Miniki, but I do know that you're mostly alone when exploring the streams, and this song feels very lonely. Parts of it remind me of the deep ocean for some reason, and the whole song feels desperate and hopeless. Fukatsuki is a kid after all, and regardless of how capable she is, this is gonna weigh pretty heavy on her. And the clock constantly ticking in the background of the entire song really sells that feeling. It's hard to tell if it's ticking down to the exit spawning, or you getting turned into taxidermy. Also, whoever was in charge of the sound chip for the song went fucking ballistic. And I've saved the best for last. You have fought as hard as you could, made all of the right plays, and your team still died regardless. You are the last one standing, alone against a monster that slaughtered everyone you hold dear. You know you're not stronger than it. You know you're not faster than it. So is the only option to accept your fate? No. You didn't come this far to let them down now. Even if you only got the idea from video games and anime, you are still a hero for God's sake. And even if you couldn't save them, you can still make it out to avenge them. So raise up your blade and show them you've earned your place among the stars. Best song in the soundtrack, past and future, fight me on it. And that pretty much wraps up what I wanted to talk about. I'm hoping that more of the soundtrack turns into original compositions as the game goes forward, because they've got some really good composers on the team. Looking at the wiki, the upcoming killers look super promising too. Though I hope the Survivors get some renders eventually. I want to know what Sunstream looks like. But even as it stands now, it is in a really solid state, and I can't really find much to complain about outside of what I already have. Please play the game, it's gas, and more players are always welcome. Though, if there is one thing that I wish would happen, it's dialogue between the users. I know the ping system already has them talking, but like character-specific stuff would be cool too. I know there's one game in this genre that does it. God, what is its name? Oh, yeah,